On January 8, 1811, a slave revolt began at a plantation owned by a man by the name of Manuel Andre. Andre escaped and reportedly said, quote, "An attempt was made to assassinate me by the stroke of an axe." He went on to say, quote, "My poor son has been ferociously murdered by a horde of brigands who, from my plantation to that of Mr. Fourier, have committed every kind of mischief and excesses, which can be expected from a gang of atrocious bandits of that nature." 15 slaves from the Audrey plantation reportedly marched to a number of plantations, adding slaves as they went, reportedly carrying with them farm implements as weapons, but having few firearms. The planters fled to raise a militia as the march continued between 14 and 22 miles until they built a camp for the night about 15 miles outside of New Orleans, with a group of between 200 and 500 slaves, depending on the account. In response, 2 companies of volunteer militia, 30 members of the volunteer army, and 40 sailors from the Navy moved toward the group, coming from New Orleans. But when they arrived at 4 in the morning, the group had already started moving in the other direction. A second group of 80 men, armed and on horseback, saw the slaves marching and attacked, killing between 40 and 45 of them. The group of slaves dispersed and fled, but they were tracked by both planters and hired Native American trackers. When the supposed ringleader was captured, a naval officer by the name of Samuel Hamilton wrote that after his hands were cut off, he was, quote, "then shot in one thigh and then the other, until they were both broken, then shot in the body, and before he had expired, was put into a bundle of straw and roasted." Others who were captured were put on trial, some shot by firing squad, others hanged, most having their heads placed on pikes as a warning to others. By January, it was reported there were nearly 100 heads on display in the central New Orleans, where Hamilton said, quote, "They were brung up here for the sake of their heads, which decorate our levee, all the way up the coast. I am told they look like crows sitting on long poles." History is awkward. History is awkward.